Yo, this is Live Actually. I am Four Corners. Welcome back. So I know a lot of really talented people, and my guests on this show thus far have been incredible. But this one that I got this week is elite. Using his voice as the key to unlock several creative ventures and revenue streams, he is not only a singer, songwriter, rap artist, he also does music for commercials, he does voiceover work for TV and film, he's a podcaster, and actually a budding actor. But with his true love being his own music, he has songs placed in several movies and TV shows, and is starting to really make noise in the industry, doing some big collaborations, big shows, and has even bigger goals. His life and journey are incredible, and I'm so happy he's here to share it. So, without further ado, this is EverythingOShauN. Yes, indeed, back again. This is Live Actually. I'm Four Corners, and with me, I got my brother, my broski, my family, the one and only EverythingOShauN. What's good, my G?
Appreciate you for having me here, man.
Of course. Good to finally have you swing by the crib.
Bro, I've been waiting for this opportunity, man. I've been watching on IG and seeing you have fun and just going crazy. I said, I can't wait to pass through, and this place is a whole vibe, man.
Well, I had to get it set up properly.
True.
I got the pod going now.
True.
And you are at the top of my list to get you to come through.
Thank the Lord.
Of course.
Thank
of course.
the Lord. I appreciate it, man.
Brother, I see you've been putting in a lot of work lately. Not just music, though, because you're a multifaceted, multi-talented individual.
True.
I see you putting in work with the music.
Yeah.
I see you putting in work with acting, with voiceover work, with podcasting.
Oh, shit.
You are becoming a multi-hyphenate in this business. But I got to ask, what has you the most excited right now in this moment? Like, what do you wake up in the morning and, like, you just can't wait to get to?
I just want to create. The music is always going to be my first love.
Okay.
And I just literally on the way here, I was writing. I was, which is dangerous, mind you guys. Make sure you
don't drive and write.
Don't drive and write. And I could have and the problem is I can't do the voice note at the same time as hearing the beat. So that's I'm really doing a risk.
Some people do that.
In the car, like I don't know, like in the car, I don't know. I haven't figured that out. Like playing the beat. I think sometimes on this phone when I go to voice note.
Oh wait, the beat is on the phone also. Yeah. Oh, okay.
So since I click the voice note, the beat stops.
True. You know what? That's wild. I haven't had a car in a couple years because of where I've been living right in the city.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about it. It's like, play the beat in the system. I'm forgetting, even when I did have a whip, everything was Bluetooth. Everything was Bluetooth.
Everything.
I was gonna say, I don't think you have a CD player in your car.
No, I do that.
Everything was Bluetooth.
I do that.
And if that's running off the phone, I see the difficulty. I get it now.
So I literally had to write, and the inspirations just hit randomly. They're so sporadic. They're so random. So I'm listening to a pod, driving, and all of a sudden I'm hearing a beat in my head that XP sent me the other day, and I'm like, shit, wait. Wait. So I go start writing it, and I just wanted to write one line,
right,
and then go continue back with the pod, and then more shit just kept. So I'm going like this, and I see the police, and I'm trying to tuck it. It was crazy. It was a crazy way to get here.
How do you explain that when they think you're talking on the phone? It's like, no, officer. I was just writing a song. I promise you.
That was it. I'm not talking. I'm on the phone talking.
That doesn't make it better.
It probably might be worse.
That does not. Yeah, no.
I'm trying to spell check, make sure it's right. I'm like, it's all crazy. Good. But yeah, it's music. Music gets me excited. Writing, putting these songs together. I'm working on wrapping up a project. And I'm just like excited, but like I love creating anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Put the mic in front. Get with creatives like yourself. I just want to be in the creative spaces as much as I can. So
I get that, and I know that about you. And I'm just curious because I really see you grinding on this other stuff, and the other things are picking up. They're taking off. I'm seeing I'm hearing man's music in commercials. Yeah. I'm hearing certain things that I'm like, I hear a voice on that. I was like, that's...
Is that me? Yeah, no.
Yes, it is.
Man, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to... Like, I mean, we're in a new world now, man. Like, it's good to do multiple things. And you can get fans or supporters literally through anything. And I think if you curate what it is that you're doing, it can catapult something else that you're doing anyway. So they're all intertwined. I don't look at it as this is stopping me from doing this or this is a hindrance to that. If I look at it as one whole ecosystem, then it's working for me, because through doing voiceover for like actual commercials, the companies have find out that I'm an artist. And then through that have commissioned me to write a song for whatever, or commissioned me through having my music, even though it's not O'Shaun, but it is O'Shaun's voice.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing a song.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have those opportunities kind of just flow in together.
And what that is called, sir, is multiple streams of income.
Yeah.
And as an independent artist, as an entrepreneur, that is a very positive thing.
Yeah.
It's a very positive thing. There's a lot of people out here trying to figure out how to navigate having a career that is their passion.
Yeah.
Like, that's a large part of why I'm even doing this podcast. It's like, I want to talk to people like yourself who, like me, are living a life of chasing our dreams.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going and punching a clock. We're not going to a 9 to 5. No. It's no diss to anybody who does that and loves that. We just don't love that.
Yeah, we don't.
We have to be out here creating.
Yeah.
And in this life, that means we eat what we kill.
Woo.
And if we don't put in,
I like that.
I would love to take credit for that. That's not mine. But
I've heard it before, but in this segment,
I wish I thought about that.
Yo,
I wish I came up with that.
What you kill, bro.
Facts. So we got to get up every day and make decisions and put in work and be effective and be efficient. And we got to make money to be able to continue to sustain our pursuit of the dream. This shit is not easy.
Oh my God! Please tell them again.
It's
not easy.
If you think this shit is easy,
Jesus,
I'm gonna say it to every camera.
Please.
If you think,
let them know. Let them know.
This is not easy, but it is worth it.
It's not easy, man.
It is not easy, but if you can get it right, it is so rewarding, so fulfilling.
Yep.
The last episode of this pod that I did, I just took a bike ride through the city and was just speaking my mind. And one of the things that I was speaking of was, if you find the thing that you love, if you find your passion, and you pursue that relentlessly, by default, you're gonna find happiness.
100%.
You're gonna find fulfillment.
1,000%.
And the only thing to figure out how to do in that, to fully take it all the way, is to figure out how to get paid for it. If you can get paid for doing the thing that you love,
it's true.
You know what they say? This is another one that I did not make up. If you do what you love, you will never work a day in your life. I'm here to tell you that's bullshit. It is work.
It is work.
It is work.
I think Gary says something similar to that thing.
Yeah.
Something like that. About
Gary V?
Yeah, about loving what you do and it doesn't feel like work, but it is work. It's still work, but it's work that you love to do, so it don't really feel like work.
Yeah.
It don't feel like, I've been through multiple different jobs. Listen, one of the craziest, I used to talk to you those times. But I had one of these jobs where, like, I would go to none of it.
Yes. I do remember that time.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I did, because So I worked in none of it at a fucking iron ore company, right? They did mining over there. And let me tell you, the money was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh, absolutely. But it's because the work and the having to go all the way to the northern ends of Canada.
The ends.
Not everybody wants to do that.
We're not out there. It's cold as shit. Y'all think this is cold, but it's cold here? I mean, we talking minus. I experienced this Jamaican boy experienced minus 50 degrees.
Oh.
I experienced that shit. Now, mind you, I didn't work outside. I was always in the office. So that part was blessed, except when it was time to go to the airports and do some rounds or whatever. But, bro, I'm telling you, when I was working there, money was amazing. And I was able to buy whatever I want. I could go wherever I want based on that. But it stopped what I loved to do, bro.
Well, that's the thing. I remember. I definitely remember. We definitely were friends at that time because and we were working on music together.
Yes.
And it was getting in the way.
It was.
It would be times when I couldn't reach you.
You couldn't.
Or times when, I want to get together and shoot this thing, but I can't until 6 weeks from now.
4 weeks, all this shit.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, because at that time you used to go like a certain amount of time on, certain amount of time off. It's just like the oil business out in Alberta.
Yeah. I have a few people that have done that too. Yeah,
fantastic money, but it's a lot of sacrifice. But to our point, you did that because you have a dream.
I have a dream,
and you're like, well, this is how I can make a lot of money in a short amount of time that I can invest in myself.
Yes, 100%.
I love that.
100%.
On that note, speaking of investing in yourself, being an entrepreneur, running a business, because this is running a business,
1,000%.
You need a team to make these things happen. This is not the type of thing that you can do. Nobody can do this on their own.
No way, Jose.
If you think you can, I promise you're mistaken.
I want to meet them.
If you're doing it successfully, I do know some people that do it with a very small team.
That's true.
You just need key individuals to manage key roles, because there are certain key things that need to be done.
Yeah.
In your opinion, in your experience, what would you say are the top 3 roles, top 3 positions that are the most important for an independent artist in 2024 to have on your team?
Producer.
Okay. To be able to,
unless you are the producer yourself.
Right. So you need music.
You need music.
And you need a lot of it.
And you need a lot all the time. Yes. And I think having even if you do produce, having another producer is also great, because you're able to still focus on writing too. If you're writing and producing and you have no other producer, one of those things is going to slow down. There's just no way.
Yeah.
Ask Cole. That shit was happening to him.
Yeah.
Until he started branching out, working with a whole lot of
Cole, Russ,
Big Crit did that. There's a few.
Kanye.
Obviously Kanye, but Kanye was heavy producing first, right?
Yeah.
Heavy producing first and got that flow. But I'd say a producer, I would say an engineer.
Okay. So somebody can make sure the music sounds right, gets it mixed and mastered properly.
You can spend all your time. You can spend all your time writing the best shit ever. If that engineer don't know what he's doing,
it's not gonna come out clean.
It's not gonna come out clean. And we need to show way more love to these engineers that are making a lot of people sound good, bro.
Okay, well, before you move on to the next thing, you mentioned producer. We got to shout out your brother XP.
Yeah, shout out XP,
main producer.
Shout out DJ XP.
And on terms of engineer,
shout out 5 Piece.
Man like Dan 5 Piece.
Man like Dan. Shout out 5 Piece.
I just spoke to him on his birthday recently as well.
Yes.
I'm really proud of that guy.
Yeah.
Because not only is a meticulously meticulous. This is funny to us because we know Dan. Dan, aka 5 Piece, is the most organized human on the planet.
It's sick.
And so much so,
it's sick,
that sometimes when I'm working with him, like, he has to say everything.
Every single
And I'm like, bro, I know.
thing.
We do this every time.
Every single, and in the email, every single thing, and in the phone call, every single.
But you know what?
But
he's great at what he does.
He's very good, man.
And what I love, and what I gave him his props for, his flowers, when I spoke to him on his birth, was I love that he's taking his expertise, his know-how, and sharing it on YouTube.
He's killing
in such a great way.
Yeah.
And he's not saying everything.
No.
On the YouTube. He's figuring a way how to script it and like get just the main points.
I love seeing it.
But also you can reach out to him because he's very accessible in that, because he just wants to be of service. I love that.
I love it too.
To a great engineer.
I love it too.
And what would you
say?
Shout
out 5.
Yes.
I would say there's 2, but you know what? I'm just gonna say, I want to say manager, but it doesn't have to be a manager who went to school for managing and is like has this expertise, or from a management firm or from a label or whatever, but somebody who is not part of creating the music, that is going to take their time to help you do what it is that you're trying to do. Someone who believes in what you're doing and is okay spending all kinds of time with you, fighting, arguing, helping you.
Also not easy.
Which is not easy, but so it could be a friend. It could be someone that you met at an event that just, was listening to your music and said, yo, listen, I think I can help you get somewhere. Or it could be someone who's in school learning this stuff. But I think another person that believes in what you're doing and helps you organize and helps you go through the goals and stuff that you're trying to do, is a great person to have on a team. I kind of tied it with somebody that does content, because this is the content game right now is so high, is so crazy that if you have somebody who is a photographer, a videographer, who knows how to create stuff from TikTok to Reels to YouTube Shorts, that their main focus is to make you look good outside of the stuff that you're creating, that's like a different type of, so shout out my homegirl Keemia, and shout out KP, that's manager, and that's my creative director who helped put things together and why I look good majority of the time. I mean, shout out ladies, yo. Work with ladies. Ladies, man.
That is definitely a thing.
Yeah,
definitely
for sure.
You got to diversify your team and make sure you get different perspectives. And having women involved is always a positive thing.
Oh man,
always.
It's the greatest thing that I never did on purpose. It just happened that way, and I'm like, thank God that's what's happening.
No,
Jesus.
absolutely. I was gonna say to that, when you said manager before creative director, content person, I was gonna be like, yes. But it depends on what stage of your career that you are.
I know,
in.
I was battling that.
Yeah,
part
because
too, so
I feel like a manager is so important.
Yeah,
but a lot of artists think that they need a manager right away.
You're right.
And like, you got to understand.
You're right.
A manager gets paid when you get paid.
When you get paid,
and if you ain't making no money,
then they're not making anything.
They're not making any money. But they're not making any money putting in all this time and energy into your dream.
Yeah.
So like, number one, a manager has to be your biggest fan, biggest champion, because they're gonna. It takes a lot of sacrifice until the money starts being made.
Yes.
But number two, it's like, you don't exactly need a manager until you are figuring out how to create some sort of revenue.
That is very true.
But
that is very true.
Video and photos, you need that shit day zero. -1.
Yeah, do it yourself before you even get somebody.
You need that content.
Look what we have. We all have this, right? So.
Very powerful tool.
Yeah,
very powerful tool.
1,000%. So you are right. You are right.
But yeah, so you mentioned 4.
Yeah.
I like the number 4. 4 is cool.
Of course he does. Of course he does. 4 corners of the world.
But yeah, so when you are, so the stage in your career that you are now.
Yeah.
You've assembled your Avengers.
Yeah.
You are creating revenue from your art now, from the things that you make. You don't have to go to none of it anymore.
No, I don't. Thank God I don't have to, even though I miss some of y'all out there. Shout out all y'all. Shout out JP, you know what I'm saying?
Of course, everywhere you go, you're going to make great connections.
Yeah. And they're great supporters of mine. Like, that's the other thing. I love hearing, like, they be like playing some of my records out there, and I'm, there's polar bears out there and shit like that. Like, so I fucking love that.
That's cool.
Shout out all the natives out there that I've connected with. Like, it's a beautiful country, man. I just don't like the cold. That's just me, man.
Yeah. And a side note for you saying it's a beautiful country, if you are Canadian or if you have the opportunity to come to Canada, I highly recommend see more than just Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot more. Yeah. But at least, like, I know plenty of people on this side that have never seen the West Coast.
I haven't.
You're one of them.
I'm literally, like, when I went to Halifax for Juno, that was the first time I went over there, and I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Now, again, I went to the most extreme. Like, I went to the none of it. So that isn't extreme. I could say that
most of us have not been
there, right? No. So I'll take that. But I haven't been to even Vancouver and these places.
All right, we're going. We're gonna figure out a situation where we get out.
You're always going over there. Yeah, like, shit,
I go everywhere, man. I go
4 corners of the world. Jeez.
But speaking of traveling, you've been traveling a little bit recently.
Yeah, a little bit.
You connected with a very heavily growing artist out of Nigeria.
Oh, yes.
By the name of Odumodu Black.
Yes.
And you recently went to go perform with him in Washington, D.C. it was, right?
Yeah. Specifically Silver Spring. So the D.C. area, that area. But
DMV.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
How did you connect with him and get to this record? And number two, y'all did version 2 of one of your biggest records, Alabeke, which is like one of the crowd favorites at your shows as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you have it in your plan to do a remix, another version of the song ahead of meeting him, or how did that all come together?
The thing about that is I'm always looking at a record that I have and wondering about if I want to do a remix to it or not, or have a part two.
I feel that.
So that's me, XP. We always think about that. Like if somebody would go on this record, if somebody would go on, if we got someone on Tessaniki, or if we got somebody on Worldwide or Woj, like we've thought about that a lot. Now, when we started doing that Alabeke at shows, like you said, and the DSPs that gravitated towards it, and all these curators and all that DJs that were originally gravitating towards it, we started thinking maybe Alabeke should be it.
That's the one.
But you know, you kind of get complacent, you kind of move on, you do things, you get distracted, blah blah blah. But I gotta shout out Fusi, Fusi Hype, out here. He constantly, when he goes to a show, or he will tell me constantly, bro, you need to do a remix. We need to get someone from Niger on this record.
You are dulling yourself, bro.
You are dulling yourself. We have to get somebody. Look and see who's out there. We need to. Right? So he'd always tell me that, and I'll be like, yeah, I'm looking, you know, but you know, you got to get money and get these guys, and who am I going to reach out to, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, but so as we continue on our day, continue on our, you know, months of doing whatever in music, Fusi showed me a video of Odumo Black.
Okay.
He sent it to me on IG. He said, this guy, he's in that trap drill vibe. That's like your shit. He's new. He's starting to bubble. I think you should reach out to this guy.
Okay.
So
was it an Instagram reach out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like
how we met. That's another story.
And through that, I learned how to interact with people that I never talked to on Instagram before. So I reached out to him. There's another guy I got to shout out, Moralo. He also knew some people on the team of Odumodu Black. So he kind of spoke to somebody from there and said, yo, this guy, Oshaun, he's like, both of these guys kind of like tag team the situation. Like, yo, I think you need to reach out to them. We're going to try to see who we can connect with. So I messaged Odu. Odu hit me back. And ironically, he said, I heard Alabeke before.
Oh, shit.
And it's a dope record.
Dope.
He heard it because I, as artists, don't forget to do, when a record you feel is doing well, I put some ad money to that video and targeted Niger, Ghana, and some of these places. Right. So he saw that the video that we had did that you weren't at the video shoot for.
No, I was not in town. I know you were in the corners of the world.
Nigga, you were supposed to be there. But yeah, so he saw the video, and then so he already had an idea about it. Like he's like, yo, I'll do it, blah blah blah, and we just kept communicating through there, and he even went through like a surgery during that time.
Oh shit!
And so he was gonna do his record even earlier, but he had a voice issue he was dealing with, and he just would tell me, "Don't worry, bro." Even in his bad voice, he would record, "Don't worry, bro. When God lets my voice be fully healed, we will scatter this." You know what I mean? He was going crazy. So I'm like, yeah, go when you're ready. Let me know when you're ready. Don't take your time, but when you're ready,
don't stress it.
And then he did it, and we were freaking excited, bro. He called me on FaceTime. He played it for me the first time. It was going crazy in his spot. And man, we were fucking hype as hell, man, because he did a great job on that, man. Shout out Odumodu Black, aka Big Kala Industry Machine.
You know what?
Yeah.
I love to hear collaboration stories like that, like the ones of you and I connecting, like organic shit, where both parties are genuinely excited about the record.
Yeah. There's nothing better than that.
Not just, hey, business deal.
Yeah.
Because that happens too. A lot.
Yeah, of course.
And it can work out.
It can.
But it doesn't work out in the way that you want it to a lot more often. Like I've heard so many horror stories, even down to artists who, you know, they hit up an artist, they pay them for the feature, they pay them an extra bit to be in the video.
Yeah.
And have a contract of everything.
Signed,
you gotta do this on Instagram,
post,
you're gonna post,
share.
And then they don't do the things. And what are you gonna do? Sue them because they didn't do a post on Instagram?
It's a loss.
You know what I mean? You just gotta take that L.
You just take that L, yeah.
But then now you're not getting the benefit of the cosign.
Why did because in the first place? It's
coming like, well, did that to their fan base? Does that song even exist,
bro? And it's crazy when it's like when a local does that to you.
It's crazy, period. Bro.
I know.
It's crazy,
like
period.
But it's like,
that sounds like a personal experience story.
I've experienced it all. I'll be honest.
That sounds like something good.
I've experienced it all. That's an off podcast convo, but you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm just saying it's just crazy either way. You're right. It's crazy either way. But at least sometimes I could justify it to myself where I'm like, yeah, well, Warner or Universal or somebody's telling them they're too busy to do what they said they were gonna do. Sometimes, even though it's not right. But these guys get away with shit all the time.
They do.
All the time.
And I think that. I mean, everybody's busy. I get it.
I know.
But if you agree to something and you sign a contract,
you should do it.
Even if it takes you some extra time.
I don't care. Take the time you need
right?
if you're going to do what you said.
Right. Because I understand that, you know, myself included. Sometimes I make an agreement and I'm going to get it done.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not done in 3 days.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not done in 5 days.
Yeah.
But it will get done.
Eventually it's going to get done.
You know what I mean? In a timely enough manner that it still makes sense. I'm not going to leave people hanging like that.
That's true.
And I'm a busy guy too.
He's always around the world. 4 corners of the world. For real.
So yes, around the world. Yes, you reach from Toronto to Nigeria and beyond. We were talking a little bit about this before, and I wanted to save it for the pod.
Okay.
There's been some discourse that has come up as a result of the back and forth between our guy Drake and
Drizzy.
Apparently their guy Kendrick. I like Kendrick too, but not so much right now.
Yeah, I like Kendrick too, but they literally took him and said it's their guy.
Yeah, they trying to say that
Yeah.
We're not going to get too much into that because like
it's crazy.
It went in a direction that like whatever. Mm-hmm. The part of it that I am very interested in that came of that was this conversation about, does Toronto have a sound? And I know my feelings on it, but I would really love to know your feelings on this. Do you think Toronto has a sound? And if it does, how would you describe that sound?
Well, it's, you know, the thing about that is that question is so layered too, bro, because I'm looking at it from an artist point of view and then trying to look at it from an audience point of view from here, thinking if I can recognize what a Toronto sound is.
Okay.
Right? So I would assume, being the artist side, I would say yes, Toronto does have a sound.
And how would you describe that?
Let's say that. I would say the Toronto sound is very cold. It's very smooth. It's very like how you could be cold.
You're describing a beer.
No, but we're not talking about beer. We're talking about a late night cold. You get warm. You know, you're speaking about very passionately about a plethora of things, but it just gives like this feeling of disconnect, and you're trying to connect. You're trying to connect through the sound of. So it's not a raw sound. It's not a super heavy, loud sound either.
It's not a big high energy.
You know what I mean?
Thing.
It's not club, everybody going crazy, jumping around and sweating. It's not that. It's something that you can put on and smoke to. It's something you can put on at long drives to. It's something where you can bring a shorty to, put some candles on and lay back and catch a vibe. But the vibe doesn't necessarily have to be sexy. That's why I'm saying it's so layered, because it's a feeling.
Yeah, I think what you're describing is the sound that Drake and 40 started in like the early 2010s.
Okay.
That extended to, you know, Party Next
Weekend.
Door and The Weeknd, and actually, The Weeknd kind of did his own thing, but
it was
a similar feeling.
Yeah,
similar feeling.
Similar feeling.
And we're talking about The Weeknd then, not The Weeknd now. The Weeknd now is a
yeah. That's a different. That's a global
Flashing
pop.
Lights is not what we're talking about.
No. We're
Great
not
song,
talking about that.
not what we're talking.
We're talking House of Balloons Weekend right now.
Yeah. I've heard that described as, I believe it was Drake himself described it as how Toronto feels in the winter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm saying cold. It's cold, yet you want to get warm because it's cold. It's a disconnect, and you're trying to bring together during the time when shit is desolate and there's snow everywhere, but you still want to go do something, and maybe it's not necessarily a party, but it's a chill session. It's a a heartbreak session. Then you're trying to fix your heart by trying to get with somebody else to try to make it work.
Well, you know what? I mean? As you say,
temporary shit.
When you're speaking of those two artists in particular, and then a few others that have come after them, and in
Tori
the
has had some
sound,
of those vibes too.
It's like the subject matter of those types of songs that became what we could call
the Toronto sound.
At least a Toronto sound, if not the Toronto sound, was definitely more emotional and personal than a lot of other regional sounds that you could say. And then also you got to bring in, there's rapping and there's singing that's like melded together in a way that it's like, is this a rap song or is it an R&B song? We almost don't even know. It's just,
we don't know.
It's just that.
It's music.
It's music. When you speak of like the LA sound, it's kind of the type of production, which is like bouncy, especially if you get to the Bay Area. That's the whole California has like a whole thing. It's bouncy, and the types of things that they're talking about a lot. There's a lot of party talk. There's a lot of, party and like vibe type shit like that. When you go to the South, you're talking like Atlanta, New Orleans, all that stuff.
1,000%.
There's definitely a sound that's like a mix of slow hip hop and the Florida bass sounds, and that kind of created
trap,
what we now know as trap music. And the subject matter in a lot, and this is not, I'm not saying everybody, but in a lot.
No, it's definitely not everybody.
And like in the South, before trap became the thing.
Before T.I. and Jeezy?
Yeah, it was like organized noise and Outkast, Goody Mob. There was a lot of live instrumentation.
A lot.
In it. And that wasn't something that was like prominent in New York hip hop, which was very sample based.
Right.
And like DJ. New York felt like concrete. The Southern music felt like grass and barbecues, and the West Coast felt like the beach and lowriders and
having
Toronto
a good time, chill
feels
out.
like the winter.
You know, everything that you just said, I think the problem that people, especially in the States, have with what is a Toronto sound is because every spot that you were explaining, their accents or their vocal pronunciation of stuff match the area.
Very regional.
Every single one of them you said.
But you know what though? That is, when we're speaking of the Toronto sound, past what we were just saying regarding it feeling like winter and like the muted bass and all that kind of stuff, because I definitely agree that is something that is uniquely, distinctly Toronto. But I think that evolving through the years and with the types of artists that we're talking about that are from Toronto, I think the Toronto sound is very much what you and I do. And let me explain.
I can't wait.
To be from Toronto is to have a multicultural upbringing. We are the most multicultural city in the world, and we grew up around every type of person from every country in the world. We eat all the food. Our slang is a combination combination of so many different languages. And I think that is the thing. In the present day. That would be the best way that I would describe the Toronto.
1,000%.
And that would speak to what you said regarding accent. This is why Americans such as Ebro, who was like very vocal about this.
Come on, Ebro.
And I'm surprised that Ebro said this because I think that he's a very critical thinker. And I feel like he's well traveled too. I think he is.
I think so too.
But I think that Americans at large don't really understand Toronto unless they've been here. And therefore they don't get like the type of things where like, yo, why is that guy sounding like he's Jamaican? Or why they say wallahi or like all these things? It's like, it's because our culture in this city is a blend of several cultures. And in one sentence, you can have proper English and a Spanish slang and a African slang and a Caribbean slang and an Indian slang and Arab slang all in one conversation.
Bro, it's crazy. They killed Drake for that. They call it code switching, or they call it like he's just making up accents. They don't understand that we all actually do that over here.
That's what I mean is like,
so it's
people that have been here enough.
It's crazy.
Like if you were to ask, as an example of an American who spent a lot of time in Toronto, Kyle Lowry. If you were to ask him, he'd be like, yeah, that's don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. This is Toronto.
Yeah.
So I get it, and I understand. I'm not mad at them for saying Toronto doesn't have a sound. I just, it seems very clear to me that they don't quite understand it.
They don't understand.
But if they were to come through,
and that's why I love what
they would get it.
That's why I love what you're doing. We talked about this off camera, but this is why I love what you're doing. The problem with why they don't understand is because there's not enough people in position or in power to speak about the Toronto experience or what's happening on this side, whether it's actual platforms or artists enough to come to different spots in the States to talk about what they're dealing with, right? Drake doesn't really do interviews anymore. Weeknd is, he's a mystery, right? Yeah. So he won't be there. We know it's with Tory. So there's nobody out there to really represent, so that when Ebro or Charlemagne or any of these guys they're talking about Toronto, they go, yeah, well, we heard Bieber say the other day on ET tonight that Toronto so we understand that, or we understand this, but they don't know, and we don't have anyone to speak for that.
Yeah, and I think that it just needs to be understood that Toronto is more than the 3 or 4 artists,
and there's that
people know, because again, when we speak about those 3 or 4 artists, they're the 3 or 4 biggest artists in the world.
The fucking world.
So I get why their words carry so much weight, but the city is more than just them. And I just encourage people to come to Toronto, or just, I mean, so you don't even physically need to come to Toronto. Just go online. Use the internet.
Yeah, what the internet? We use the internet for everything else. Why are we not using the internet for that shit?
Exactly.
What? Come on, man.
Exactly. There are a lot of successful people from here doing great things around the world. Not everybody wears the Canada flag on their chest the way some people do. Yeah, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they are from here and have had the Toronto experience and are very proud of coming from here, myself included.
That's a fact. Me too, Crody. Word.
In that, I have to ask you again, you are becoming quite the multi-hyphenate. You're doing a lot of things, and you're doing a lot of things well. And it feels like a lot of things are coming together at the same time, right? Which means all the work, all the blood, sweat, and tears, and trips to none of it are all starting to pay off.
And manifesting. That shit does work.
Yes, sir.
I used to be very skeptical about that.
No, you gotta. You know who I learned really the power of manifestation from?
Who?
Kanye.
At what point?
Because early in his career. Okay. Because I can't remember what interview it was. Whoever was it? It wasn't Zane Lowe. I think it might have been the Zane Lowe interview, or the other one where he was wearing the white button-up shirt. It's one of those two. But it was around the time that the Yeezus album came out. Okay. And he was being extremely vocal. Yeah. And extremely full on 10 out of 10 Kanye. He was like not holding back. He never really holds back, but like at that time, he was really on one. Okay. And there was a thing that he said that really stuck with me, and it just connected all the dots from all this manifestation talk that I'm like, it all sounded kind of like, whatever. But he was this sentence was one of the ones that like really honed me in on it, made me perk up. And then from then I started listening and reading and understanding this from a different perspective, and I really internalized it. He said, what did he say? People are mad because I say out loud what I'm going to do, and then I fucking do it.
I think I did see that.
And I was like, that is so powerful just because he decided.
That's crazy.
He decided, he believed it with his whole heart, and he didn't keep it. Like, there's this narrative of don't tell people your plans.
Yeah. They say keep it because it might ruin it.
Yeah, or I'm like,
put their,
that motherfucker
I've been told
was
that all my life.
Right. That guy shattered that for me that day when he was like, I say this shit out loud. I tell everybody. I tell everybody. And then I do it. Wow. And then people are upset, and the only people that are really upset are the ones that look at themselves and feel like they can't do that.
Yeah, they can't.
Or they didn't do that.
That's true. That's
and I'm
true.
just like,
I like that.
You know what I mean? Take that with you, please.
I like that. People,
I
please.
need us all to have this kind of energy.
We
you
all
can do anything that you want to do, but you have to decide. And once you decide, once you know, don't just hope. Know.
Yeah.
And when you know something,
yeah, it's true.
You don't have to be shy about talking about it because you know it.
That's so true.
Like, I'm not going to keep it a secret that the sky is blue. The sky is blue. I'm telling you right now.
It's blue. Look up right now. It's blue.
I promise you. So it was that.
Yeah.
It was that.
Man.
And he defined what success means to him in this moment for me. He's like, yo, success is I'm living my life the way I want to live it.
Yeah.
I'm doing what I say I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking shit. I'm walking the walk.
I'm doing it.
You know what I mean? I say I'm going to do it, and then I do everything in my power to make that done, to make that happen. And when I get it done, I'm on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. So my question for you is, what does success mean to you?
Whoo! Wow. You see how he did that? I'm like, damn. Now, what does success mean to you? What does success mean to me? Damn. I think success for me is never being satisfied and never being satisfied with where I'm at and continuing to have the passion to want to pursue the things that I still want to get. So as long as I'm in the game still, which means if I go to sleep and wake up, I'm in the game.
Facts.
If I'm in the game, God gave me another day to breathe, that's already success to me.
Big fact.
I have the mental capacity, I have the health to pursue what it is that I want to do. That's success.
Preach.
Now, when I get into the things that I'm doing, recording a record to me is success. I got it done. It gets mixed, it's done, it's out, that's success. I do an audition, I send it in, that's success. I get a call back, that's success. I get booked, that's a success. That's a success. I didn't, but guess what? The next day, I got 5 more auditions. I'm still in the game. Mm-hmm. So as long as I still have the passion for it is that of what I'm doing, and even if I get 10 accolades, 20 accolades, 2 accolades, 1 accolade, do I still want to do what it is that I'm doing and still have the passion and energy and you know the capacity to want to do it? Then that's success to me, because I'm never ever gonna stop. Never.
That to me sounds like you love this shit.
I love this shit.
In my opinion, that is the best possible reason to do anything.
Man.
So
shout out everybody who found the thing that they love to do and are doing it. Because I know there are so many people, I get messages all the time, people who are scared to do what it is that they love to do. And they're living in misery right now, yo. Because they're not even attempting to try it.
Yeah.
And they think I'm bullshitting them when I say, you just gotta start to do it. And they're like, yeah, but it's so much easier said than done. I'm like, nigga, what? Like,
you know,
but what? You gotta do it. And in anything.
It is easier said than done. But if it's what you really love, if it's what puts fire in your heart,
they say that.
If it's a thing, here's what the measure for me is: if it's shit that you would do for free, then it's that you found your thing.
Then that's your thing. Yeah.
If there was no money in it and you still feel compelled to do it anyway,
that's
you found your thing.
That's your thing.
And that is
definitely shout out all the creatives that love to do the thing for even if there was no money.
Yeah.
But of course, shout out the creatives that are getting money doing this. Because,
yes, indeed.
Because we need that. Y'all need to stop trying to make us do everything for free. What do you guys think this is, huh?
No, and that starving artist narrative.
Yeah, it's a wrap for that.
It's a wrap for that.
It's a wrap snack.
What we're doing is creating a situation for ourselves, creating lives for ourselves.
Yeah.
Where we can not only just survive but thrive.
That's a fact.
While and from doing the things that we love to do.
That's a fact.
That's the dream.
That's the dream.
That's living actually.
Woo!
Is it?
Wait,
my dude, thank you so much for coming through.
Bro, man.
Fantastic conversation as expected. And
amazing,
this is not the last
man.
time you're going to be on
no,
here.
please,
by the way.
please, yeah, please let me. This is a vibe. I love what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, and please let this not just be the only time.
Nah, you're welcome to come
I'm gonna drive and then think of 30 things we could have talked about. Like, be like, bro, what the hell is going on? But I would definitely love to come back.
Yo, tap in and let me know what questions I need to ask this man next time he's here.
Yeah, next time my album will probably be out that time. So,
beautiful.
You can ask other things there too. And appreciate everybody. Appreciate Four Corners. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Listen, y'all share this. Let's get this show going crazy. The city needs it. The country needs it.
The four corners of the world.
Four corners of the world
needs it. Bam, my guy.